You know, in the entire sprawling history of Imperial China, only one woman ever took the title of emperor for herself. Her name was Zetian. And her story, it's not just about getting power. It's basically the ultimate playbook for how to win when the whole world is set up for you to lose. All right, let's get into it and see how she didn't just play the game, she completely rewrote the rules.
We have to start right here, with the single most shocking, most horrifying accusation against her. It's the story that has defined her for centuries. Did she really, actually strangle her own infant daughter just to frame her rival and snatch the throne? I mean, this one question, it kicks off one of the most ruthless power plays in all of history.
Her rise to power was just unbelievable. Think about it. In 636, she walks into the palace as basically a lady-in-waiting, a nobody on the lowest rung of the ladder. By 655, she's the Empress of China. She went from being a background character to the main event. This wasn't just climbing a ladder, it was like she built a rocket ship from scratch.
So let's really break down that ultimate gamble, the controversy that, whether it's true or not, landed her on the throne and showed everyone just how brutal the game of power politics could be.
Okay, so here's the story that's been passed down. In 654, Wu's baby girl is found dead in her crib. And who was the last person to visit the nursery? Her #1 rival, the Empress Wang, who couldn't have children of her own. Wu immediately points the finger. The accusation just explodes throughout the court. Now, did she actually do it? Or did she just brilliantly seize a tragic opportunity? Either way, the result was the same. Her biggest obstacle was walking right into a trap. And just look at the fallout. It was a complete zero-sum game. Empress Wang loses everything, her title, her freedom, and eventually her life in this horrifying execution. And Wu Zetian, well, she gets it all. She becomes empress, her sons are named the heirs to the throne, and her power is totally locked in. It was a brutal, brutal move, but man, was it effective. Winning the title, that was one thing. But holding on to it, that required a very specific set of skills. So let's dive into the first tool in her ruthless toolkit, just pure, unfiltered violence. You want to know how she thought? Just listen to this. Someone asked her how she'd tame a wild, untamable horse, and this was her answer. It's a chillingly clear philosophy, isn't it? Submission is not optional. And she applied that exact same logic to the state and to anyone who even thought about standing in her way. And oh, she put that philosophy into terrifying practice. This wasn't random cruelty. Nope, this was a cold, calculated, systematic purge of any potential threat. She wiped out entire branches of the imperial family, executed her political opponents, and, according to the history books, even got rid of her own children when they became obstacles. The message couldn't have been clearer. Loyalty is your only option. Disloyalty is a death sentence.
But here's the thing, and this is what makes her story so fascinating. All that bloodshed, all that scheming, it actually worked. Her brutal consolidation of power led to a time of incredible stability and prosperity. Farms were thriving, and the super important Silk Road was reopened for business. So it leaves you wondering, right? Was she a tyrant, or was she a pragmatist who just did what had to be done?
Now for her second tool. Because, you know, violence keeps people in line, but information is what keeps you in power. And for that, Wu Zetian created this ingenious and, honestly, terrifying system of surveillance. So on the surface, this thing looked like a great idea. A tool for open government, a public suggestion box for the people. Anyone could drop in a note to recommend a good official or criticize a bad one. It seemed like a direct line to the Empress, a way to bypass all the bureaucracy. But its real purpose? Yeah, that was way more sinister. And here's how it became a weapon. An anonymous tip gets dropped in the urn. That goes straight to Wu's secret police. They investigate, often using torture to get a confession. And it didn't matter if it was true or not. The target is then eliminated. And get this, the informant even gets a reward. It was a ruthlessly efficient machine for crushing dissent, and it basically turned the entire population into potential spies. Okay, so her final tool might have been the most revolutionary of all. In a world that was run completely by men, she didn't just try to play their game. No, she flipped the entire board over. She strategically reversed gender rules to make her own unprecedented authority feel normal. And just look at how systematically she did it. Male emperors had harems of women. She reportedly had her own male favorites. Government was a total boys' club. She promoted brilliant women to some of the highest positions in the land.
Traditionally, they'd marry off princesses to foreign chiefs. She sent male grooms instead. She even changed the law to make the official mourning period for a mother the same as for a father. Every single one of these moves was a calculated strike to make a woman in charge, her in charge, seem not just possible but natural.
So after all of that, a lifetime of ruthless ambition, of shattering traditions, of absolute power, how do people remember her? Well, that brings us to the final, and maybe the most mysterious part of her entire story. I mean, picture this. You go to her tomb, and you see these two giant stone monuments. Her husband's is covered in writing, celebrating all the great things he did during his reign. And hers is just a massive, blank slab of stone. It's called the wordless stela. For centuries, it seems nobody could find the words. Was she a monster? A visionary? Was her legacy just too big for an inscription, or maybe too controversial to even dare write down? That blank stone is maybe the most perfect legacy for her. It's an open question left for all of us to answer. It kind of suggests her actions, both the terrible and the brilliant, they just speak for themselves. So I'm going to leave you with this. If you were the one who finally had to fill that empty space, what would you write?